So for this week's podcast, we're going to talk about what the Vikings can learn from Super Bowl 54, how Minnesota can go from being pretenders to legit contenders. We'll look at both the Chiefs and the Niners and what the Vikings can take away from them. And we'll start with the Niners first, since they really have the blueprint for what the Vikings aspire to be in terms of being a power running team, great defense, and both the Niners and the Vikings go out of their way to protect their quarterbacks from themselves. And I would say, going back to Sunday's game, Super Bowl Chiefs versus Niners, I would say for the first 3 quarters and 4-ish minutes, the Niners' philosophy worked to a T because the defense, they forced 2 interceptions. They held the Chiefs to just 10 points. They rushed for well over 100 yards and a touchdown up to that point, and they were up by 2 scores, 20-10. In which case, then when Kansas City, when they turned on the Jets, the Niners, tiny chunks at a time offense just couldn't keep up. And it looked like they weren't really prepared for the about face that Kansas City is capable of, which is really a shame because we saw this going back to the divisional round, Houston versus Kansas City, in which the Texans were up 24-0 against the Chiefs. What do you know? The Chiefs came back and won that game. And it's not like the Niners didn't try to open up the playbook on offense, because they did, but Jimmy Garoppolo was wildly inaccurate. And I don't think that Jimmy G is this horrible, terrible quarterback that he's been made out to be. I think he's got talent. I wouldn't necessarily make him my franchise quarterback, but you can tell that the Niners, Kyle Shanahan, they don't trust Jimmy G worth a damn. Go back to the final possession of the Niners to end the first half. It was about a minute left, tie game, 10-10. They had all 3 of their timeouts left, in which case they ran the ball on first and second down without using timeouts, in which you saw John Lynch up in the booth, call a timeout, call a timeout. And Kyle Shanahan was like, no, we're not calling a timeout. They didn't call a timeout until it was 14 seconds left. They waved the white flag. They basically were conservative. They were content going into the half, tied game 10-10. It felt like I was watching Mike Zimmer coach the Niners to end the first half. Then we switch over to the Chiefs side, in which they adjusted. The Chiefs did a hell of a job killing the Niners on the option play. They stayed reliant on their weapons, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. They attacked Richard Sherman, in which he's great against. Look, he's second-team All-Pro. He had a great season. He played a lot better than I thought he would at this stage in his career. However, he's great against physical receivers, but the shifty, speedy receivers, not so much. Tyreek Hill, he lit him up, but then again, who doesn't Tyreek Hill light up? But also Sammy Watkins straight up ran by him on a fly pattern, on a fade route. I don't remember which one it was, but straight up outran Richard Sherman. And yes, okay, the Chiefs, they've got Patrick Mahomes, who may turn out to be the greatest quarterback of all time. We'll just have to see. However, big picture though, the Chiefs maximize their personnel. They maximize the talent that they have on their team. And I've said this for a while now. If you're a head coach and you're hell-bent on force-feeding your players into your system, so regardless of the players that you have on your team, this is the system that we're going to run, then your ceiling is, okay, this could be a good head coach. However, if you're a head coach and you're willing to individually analyze each player that you have, all 53 men on your roster, and say, okay, here are the talents that this player has. How can we maximize each player's talent to where they can gel together in order to give our team the best chance to win? That is the difference between a good head coach and a great head coach. And I think the Vikings' philosophy is nice. I agree with it. I think Dalvin Cook should be the focal point of this offense. However, you also have to be cognizant of the other players that we have as well. Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, B.C. Johnson, Kyle Rudolph, Irv Smith Jr., you have all these players to use in the passing game, and yet somehow, some way, the Minnesota Vikings finished with the 3rd fewest pass attempts in the league last year. How is that even possible? That is gross mismanagement. Why would you have Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, and Stephon Diggs, who combined in 2019 accounted for damn near a $50 million cap hit, just to finish with the third fewest pass attempts in the league. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. I joke a lot on this podcast. I'm very satirical. Really, the spirit in me just got beat the hell out of me by this team to where when they break my heart, I just find a way to laugh about it. But I'm dead serious when I say this. If you are hell-bent on running this system, because I like the philosophy, but my God, be a balanced offensive attack. Don't be whatever it is, 65% top-heavy running the football and 35% passing. That's stupid. That makes absolutely no sense. However, if that's what you think is going to win you football games, then you're better off having Trevor Siemian or Sean Mannion be your starting quarterback, and you're better off with having Laquan Treadwell be your number one wideout to where you could save all that money against the cap and put it on your defense or wherever the hell else you want to put it. I'm dead serious when I say this. So if the Vikings are going to legit get over the hump with this leadership that we have now for the Vikings going into 2020, you have to maximize the talent that you have on this team. And so far, forever now, this team has been grossly mismanaged, whether it's by the GM, whether it's by the head coach or others. It's just a shame, but that's what it's going to take. So we do this now that we're in the off season. We do this once a week. Mediocre Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at realistic Randy. See you next week.